The Polaroid Now Plus, does it overexpose everything? I reached out to you, my precious little eggies, to see what was going on, and things seem pretty split. So it's time for me to take my Polaroids and put them to the test, and maybe we can get to the bottom of this. So before we jump into the details, here's a quick blind test. No labels, no guessing, don't jump ahead. It's time to take your guess. Which Polaroid came from which camera? And here's a second quick blind test. These are 5 images, all taken with the Polaroid Now Plus using different settings, including the app. So get your number 2 pencils out and guess which one is which, and I will reveal the answers in just a few. And make sure you stick around to the end of this video, because all this noodling around, I have a bit of a hypothesis about what's going on here. If you've been following the channel, you know I've been using this camera a whole bunch as of late, and I haven't really come across the overexposing issue too much. Granted, the camera has made a few odd decisions every now and then, but I believe we are all guilty of making odd decisions every now and then. I'm making this video and wasting more money on Polaroid film because it's worth the test. We need to know if this is a bug, what in the hell just happened, or a feature. So make sure you smash that f***ing subscribe button, dude. The rules for this test are really simple. I ordered 2 fresh packs of I-type film straight from Polaroid. The day it came, I loaded it into both my cameras, the Polaroid Now and the Polaroid Now Plus. Then I went out with both cameras and shot the same subjects. Alright, remember those beautiful photos of me from just a few seconds ago? Did you place your bets? Alright, here you go. Here are the results. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Are you surprised? Contrary to what I've been seeing online, the Polaroid Now Plus actually underexposed compared to the Polaroid Now. But you guys know me, I like to be thorough with these videos. Now this was just one single example, and shout out to my buddy Nick from Grounds for shooting this photo in the first place. Of course, this photo was indoors, so we used the flash, but I didn't adjust the exposure compensation on either camera, and I didn't use the app for the Polaroid Now. My goal for this video is to make it feel as though you took it out of the box and just started shooting. So I didn't use the app or exposure compensation on any of these photos unless I mention otherwise. Up next, I went for another indoor shot using the flash. The exposures are slightly different, but the difference is negligible to me. They're very close, and I don't think there's anything to really report there. Next stop was the package store, and though I didn't buy any packages, I did take 2 photos of it using both of my Polaroid cameras. Keep in mind, I typically don't use the flash outdoors, and that is true of all these photos. The Polaroid Now Plus did expose a little bit brighter than the Now, but to me the Now Plus judged the exposure much more on the money than the Now did. Up next, I found this building. It looks like it's abandoned or a meth lab or something like that, and the clouds are really starting to roll in, so Polaroid, more like hemorrhoid. Yeah, these photos suck, but the exposure is very similar on both of them. The Now Plus exposed it slightly better, but still wrong.
Ain't that cute? But it's wrong!
You know I love a good gas station photo. The trend remained the same. The Now Plus is exposing photos a little bit brighter than the Now. I do think the Now Plus is judging the exposures better than the Now, but keep in mind the clouds are definitely playing a role here too. If this was bright daylight, these photos would look a lot better in my opinion. With 2 shots left in both the cameras, I decided to keep things consistent, no flash outdoor photos, and the trend remained the same. The Now Plus was exposing a little bit brighter than the Now. I think it was judging those exposures a little bit better. But given the fact that the clouds were so prominent throughout this whole video, I decided to buy another 2 packs of film and test it out on a bright, sunny day. Fresh packs of film, sunny weather, we are in the game. I started off with another portrait of me, my favorite, and the sun was really murdering my eyes, so these are probably the squintiest photos of me in existence. But this is where things got a little more interesting in my opinion. The trend is remaining the same from the previous packs. The Now Plus is definitely exposing a little bit brighter than the Now. But in the bright sunlight, it seems as though the Now Plus is overexposing a bit. Things are just looking a little bit too hot. I know I'm really attractive and all, but it's just, you know, the skin tones, they're almost kind of completely blown out. Oh my god, what am I saying? The skin tones! Much better. The rest of this pack follows this trend until it doesn't, so I'll talk about that in a second, but keep in mind these are outdoors, bright sunny day, no flash. Even though the Now Plus is overexposing a little bit, I think I prefer the look of these photos over the Now. Now, of course, you're watching a Sweet Lou photography video, so something definitely had to go wrong. The clouds kind of rolled in, and that defeated the whole idea of shooting in the bright sunlight. But interestingly enough, the exposures became a lot closer in this scenario. Are you noticing a trend yet? I decided to wait for another bright sunny day to continue the testing, but unfortunately, I'm in the northeast over here, and things are starting to get cold. And for those who don't know, Polaroids do not love the cold, so these shifted a little bit blue in their development. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot of it. But I also think both cameras here underexposed because the sun was in the frame. And the last 2 frames were supposed to be at this AMC movie theater, but unfortunately 2 of the frames stuck together on my original Polaroid Now. They came out all busted up, so the Polaroid Now Plus stands alone. spit out 2 frames at once. You fucking jackass. So after asking my community on the Discord and on the community tab of this channel, I found that some people were mentioning the fact that the app seemed to be the problem. So I decided, hey, what's one more pack of film? It's not like this shit's expensive or anything like that. And if you remember from the beginning of this video, these are the photos from the second test. I took the first photo just like all the other ones, no flash, no app, no exposure compensation. Then I connected the Now Plus to the app. Keep in mind, I am on a Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. The first shot I took using the app was on remote mode, and it fired the flash, so that was a mistake, like me. So to right my wrong, I took another one with the flash disabled. And with that change, the photo came out about where I expected it to be. It's slightly underexposed, but the light was changing while I was doing this experiment. Then I switched over to manual. What was interesting to me is that the manual mode already had some settings dialed in, and I hadn't done that myself. The exposure compensation was at +2.5, so I decided to take a photo and see what would happen, and of course it was pretty overexposed.
Ew!
So I adjusted it down to 0, and sure enough, it didn't overexpose dramatically. So what does it all mean? Well, in my experience, I think using the camera without the app is the most consistent shooting experience. To me, the app is just a little wonky. I'm not entirely sure why, but it seems like when I use the app, things overexpose. And even though I found that the Now Plus does expose things a little bit brighter than the Now, I didn't really have the problems until I rolled the app into the equation. So maybe the app just needs an update, and maybe that's just for Android, maybe it's all around, but I think there's a little something funky going on with that app. This is also just a little bit of speculation here, I could be completely wrong, but it seems like the Now Plus does a better job of metering when it's overcast and the lighting is very flat, as opposed to a bright sunny day where it's a really high dynamic range situation where there's really dark shadows and really bright highlights. And this is just me playing devil's advocate here, but I almost wonder if the overexposing thing is a bit of a gimmick for them. I wonder if this is their way of getting that airy overexposed film look just by making the camera overexpose things. Again, no way for me to really prove it, but just a thought I had while I was compiling all these images together. Keep in mind, I paid for this camera with my own money. Polaroid didn't send this to me. They don't really acknowledge my existence even though I make a ton of Polaroid content. And before you accuse me of simping for Polaroid by not just coming out and saying that this camera overexposes everything and it's a mess and I'm going too easy on them and giving them the benefit of the doubt, this is coming from the guy who threw a Polaroid camera out the window and cracked an egg into one, so yeah. Those are funny jokes in my opinion, but not everybody agreed. But jokes aside, people seem to be having this issue intermittently, so my suspicion is this is bad quality control. It seems like some units are affected more severely than others. I happen to be lucky and have one that works more consistently, but if you are one of the people who has a camera that's not functioning properly, I have a couple of suggestions for you. The first thing, buy a pack of film from Polaroid and underexpose the shots and see what happens. See if it's as simple as that. The second thought is, if you're having these problems and you always use the app, try shooting a pack without the app and see if that solves your problem. But honestly, I think the best move is to contact Polaroid. If this truly is a problem with their quality control, they need to be accountable. Whether it's a firmware update, an app update, a full camera replacement, or all three, something needs to be done. Let me know about your experience with the Polaroid Now Plus in the comments below. I'm very curious, and be sure to share this video with one of your friends who shoots on Polaroid. I have a whole Polaroid playlist for you to check out, so make sure you do that. Smash that subscribe. This video is now over. Bye.
Like and subscribe. Sweet Loop Photography. Dumb man.